Welcome back to another episode. I'm your host, Vincent Green.
I'm your host, Noel John Tui.
And this is Invasion of Potty Snatchers. And this week we got ourselves a special Rankers edition. And this week we're going to look at the best movies of 2022. I don't care if I said this week twice. I'm going to roll with it. All right, Noel. Like last year, we got a lot of fucking good horror movies. We got a lot of reboots. We got a lot to choose from. So
we do.
For once, we're not scrambling for our rankers list after we come up with a topic and then we go, shit, this is harder than we thought it was going to be. But we're here to talk about last year's fucking horror movies. Come on, Noel, talk to me.
You want me to start? You want me to get the balls rolling?
I
thought last year was I was. And you know what? I'll be honest, I was talking only a couple of weeks ago to the missus, and I was like, it was an okay year, you know, but what really was there? There was a couple, but I'm not going to give examples now because obviously there's coming up in the list. But then when you actually sit down and look back over it, you went, God, that was a great film.
Yeah,
that was a great film, or that was a fun film, or that, because you know, horror is a broad term, and sometimes there's an itch you need to scratch, and it needs to be like fucking mess with my brain horror movie, or fun and goofy and kind of maybe a little bit gratuitous and slapstick. And there was some really good movies in there. I have to say it was a good year. Good year for
it really was. I think like as well, like after the pandemic, the movies that are cheap to make are going to get made more easily because people don't want to take that risk, and horror is just a perfect vector for that kind of filmmaking. Like, you know,
you're not wrong there.
And like last year, like I couldn't believe it. And I was looking back to make this list, and I was just like, holy shit! Like all of this came out last year. Like it was crazy. It was a cool 12 months for our horror fans and cinephiles that love to see the blood and gore of everything. Like, you know, so right now, like as a good ranker tradition, you kick us off. What's your number 5, motherfucker?
My number 5. And as I was kind of going for these, I was thinking, all right, well, what? Again, these tickle different fancies, but I'm going to open up the shop with Bodies.
Yeah.
Herself, my better half, my dark half, she who walks in flame and shadow.
His dark half, he means in terms of her morality.
Like, yeah, exactly. Yeah. But she was absolutely dying for a horror comedy. I mean, like, and sometimes she does this to me. She kind of like, and she'll do it to me like 11 times in a year, and I'll be like, "You do know that I got you." Like, 11 times. You know, she'll just but like
once a month, she's just like,
yeah. And she just like, and we could watch a couple of them, and you'd be drowned in them. Of course, you know, you get lucky. And then she was like, horror comedy, and sometimes she does this horror comedy, and she does that. We do the girlfriend boyfriend tropey fucking talk baby talk, and I'm like, oh god, I don't know how this slipped under my radar, but I'm so glad it did.
What your tendency to do baby talk?
Yeah, I found this when I needed to find this. I was like, yes. Okay, it's goofy, it's stupid. I thought the ending of this was spectacular. Okay, so this is spoiler warnings are in effect, because we are going to talk about movies we've seen. But the Pete Davidson's character ends up dead. And they fucking turn on each other, like The Thing and all these other great, but in the most stupid way. But it literally turns out that he accidentally killed himself, like messing with a fucking knife or something, like trying to dance on camera, and but like everyone's dead except one person. Like, everyone is turned on everyone, and it was just hilarious. And at the end of it, I was just like, yeah. And I even got a little chill just saying that, because I know, as stupid as it was, you know, when you just needed the film to be that on the day. So I probably judge it harsher if I watched it another day, but I fucking loved it. It made me laugh. It was stupid, it was goofy, it was shallow, but it kept me entertained. It paced itself well. But it was just those like rich kind of like teens hiding from a storm in a mansion, you know, like getting high,
man,
you know, get oversexed.
Yeah, man, Pete Davidson, like, you know, who thought it'd be a good idea to send him away filming a movie with all these young chicks? Like, you know what I mean? They're looking forward to him to come back pregnant.
He's going to be the Genghis Khan of our fucking generation. Like fucking 500 years from now. All these fucking sick-looking motherfuckers.
All these anemic-looking motherfuckers.
for some fucking reason. Like, you know, he is.
Yeah,
He's,
yeah, dude can pull women like a motherfucker.
oh my God. Like, you're
God,
on a
he's
date with Kate
insane.
Beckinsale
Yeah.
after, you know, and then you go on a Kate. I don't know what to
Wasn't he
say.
fucking with Selena Gomez or some shit like, or
I don't know about Selena
or is
Gomez, but
no
you know,
that other pop
a
chick?
Grande,
Yeah,
Ariana Grande.
Ariana Grande.
They were engaged for like a minute and a half, but
I
he's
nearly did a John Travolta there. Do you remember when he was trying to pronounce your one's name? Iggy Azalea.
what did he say?
Adiza Zenzel or some shit like.
I love that. I love that. Nailed it. But this movie is just it's stupid. But if you've seen it,
Yeah,
I think you've enjoyed it. And if you haven't, I suppose there's a debate to be had. But I
yeah.
enjoyed the show with Vinny. Number 5.
Number 5 for me, right? So last year was a year a lot of reboots and a lot of franchises were revisited and a lot of very famous ones. But for me, like one of my favorite horror movies that flew under my radar for a long time came about of nowhere and I saw it. I couldn't believe how impressed I was with it. And then I found out about how they achieved the movie. And then they said, here, we're going to make a prequel. And you're going like, how? And then they just come out with this fucking awesome movie. And that's Orphan First Kill. And like, man,
Haven't seen it, so
yeah,
yeah.
I was,
But like, treat me like I have. At this point,
yeah,
I'll take the
I'd
bullet.
rather not,
Go ahead.
man.
Oh no, do
You haven't earned it, is what I'm saying.
Oh really? Is it that good? Because I've seen
Earn
Orphan.
this. I know. I'm just fucking with you, dude. I like
Because it's
it.
for our audience, so we're just gonna have
Yeah,
to. We're gonna have to
yeah.
take. I'm gonna have to bite the bullet here. Go for it.
No, like yeah, no. It's just what I was really impressed by was not just the story, like that they kept it fresh, they kept it menacing, but like the fact that the kind of technical aspect of having her come back like what like 10, 12 years later and play a kid and not use too much de-aging, like you know what I mean, and just use camera tricks and just the kind of technical aspects of the de-aging of her being a 25-year-old woman and have her playing like a small child or a woman that can pass for a small child at the very least, even though you could clearly see at times that there was obviously you could see that she is aged because you know of biology. Like but like you know what I mean, you can clearly see that she aged in real life, like you know, because they didn't try to put on too many tricks, and every now and again that was a bit of a distraction, but the story and everything else about it was fucking brilliant. I love the first movie, flew under my radar. We just kind of caught it one night in Netflix or Amazon or something. And we're just like, hey, what's this? We checked the premise and we just threw it on, and it was just so well done. And we checked it up to see who this kid is. Like, was that kid? And you find out that it was like a girl that was like much older and she was playing a child, and like and how well she played the role. And at the same time, it's kind of like we talked about Megan, like that you have these kind of menacing kind of things, and it's hard to keep someone menacing when they're supposed to be a small child, or at the very least,
Yes.
that's in the same physicalities as
I
small
feel
kids.
like you've said a few times when we podcast together that there is just something very scary about an elderly person
Yeah,
or a petite woman or a
yeah,
child or
yeah.
something that typically
It's
you're
safe.
not. It does because the really foreboding 7 foot tall,
Yeah,
really broad, like rugby / basketball player physique
yeah,
is obviously quite foreboding. And
yeah.
when somebody flips that, an Orphan, the first one that I did see, it flipped that. It was just it's in your house and you let it walk in because you were taught to not be afraid of it.
Yeah, exactly. Like that. That's why it's like if you're like anything that's inherently safe to you, where you drop your guard instantaneously, and then that turns around and becomes a threat. It's really, really unsettling and really off-putting. And like it's like that's why it's a trope. Like you know the evil kid, the possessed kid, or the evil kind of grandmother or whatever. Because anything that's inherently safe that becomes a danger to you is extremely unsettling. And like when you have a movie like Orphan, when you think it's a child and it turns out to be this like sociopathic woman posing as a child, like that is incredibly fucking
The
unnerving.
teeth
And
thing. I
yeah,
always loved that.
man,
I
it's
always loved the
so well
teeth thing.
done. Like you know,
It's
the
so well done.
transformation, yeah, like everything about the first movie is brilliant. Her backstory is creepy as fuck, and I love that. Like, and the prequel did a really, really good job
So it
of
is a
like,
prequel because
yeah.
I remember how the film ended, and yeah, she wasn't in the best shape. So
Yeah, exactly. Like, 'cause that's what I always say to you. I've said it, like horrors should be really careful about painting themselves into a corner. You should, if you
yeah.
make a first movie, always leave it open ending because, like, then there's like nothing does franchises like horror. Like, you know what I
Oh,
mean?
I actually agree.
Yeah,
Well, actually, sometimes I do like a story that's very self-involved, but I do agree with you that like you had God paranormal activity,
yeah,
and then they were like, shit, we spent like we filmed that in the director's house with his own CCTV system.
yeah,
and we made bundles of money. So now I want to make more bundles of money, thank you.
Yeah.
So now we have to go back to their 80s VHS tapes and fucking
Yeah.
Of course, you're right. You know,
Yeah,
they
but
do.
they're
They
all
paint
they're
themselves
still
into
spooky movies though. Paranormal Activity has gotten a bit too much because I hate the way franchises keep continuously going
I watched
backwards.
the
Like
first
Saw,
two and I knew they were just going to
yeah,
beat it.
I've seen them all, and one thing I give Paranormal Activity is they're effectively spooky, every single one of them, even though they decrease in quality.
Fair enough.
What's your number four?
You know, I'm looking here at the options that I provided myself, and
Give
I
Noel a
was
break.
rest.
We had some miscommunication. He put this list together
We
quickly.
did, we did.
Uh,
But I've gone with, and I'm breaking the rules a tiny bit. I've gone with both Pearl and X, and the reason that I'm allowing myself to put both of these is because while, like, you literally have a prequel
yeah,
behind you as we speak, but this, while these were two different films, 2 points I'd like to make. One, they were released in the same year. Two, they take place on literally the same ground.
yeah,
So even though they're supposed to be 40 years apart and all of that, I feel like the Pearl story is a two-part of one major film.
yeah.
You know, that it was just a time constraint thing more than a two completely separate stories. And you're one, of course, the prequel. They paint themselves in the corner. The character's gone, so we need to go back. No, they planned this. It
Yeah,
was
it seems that
beautiful.
way. It seems that way.
Exactly. It
You
feels like
never
the
see two
execution.
movies.
And
Yeah.
that ending where Pearl is just
Mm.
smiling for I have again, I say this often. I said it when we were
Mia
talking about
God is a
Megan
beast. She's awesome.
recently. Yeah, Mia Gott's a beast, like a beast
Yeah,
of an actress. Me, like
yeah,
a literal fucking tip of the cap to Mia Goth.
yeah.
She was fantastic. But I thought that shit, I lost my train of thought. But I thought that this film was oh yeah, sorry. I always say that when I haven't seen a film before, like sometimes I see a film, kind of go, it reminds me of this and reminds me of this, and it was well executed. But this film I hadn't kind of seen before. And it's not that I didn't have things that I have seen in horror, but Mia Goth was just so fucking good in this that I remember just thinking, God, I felt so spoiled when Pearl came out. I couldn't believe that in the same year I got to revisit this character.
Yeah, you
I
never
felt
see that.
so spoiled.
Mm,
I really,
mm.
really did. It reminded me of Fear Street because
Yeah.
I knew there was going to be a second Fear
Oh,
Street, but because
seriously,
I'm a
so
dumb
good.
dumb person,
Yeah.
I didn't know that it was coming out every Friday. I
We
thought it
should
was
do
going to
like
come
a
out.
watch along with somebody who do the Fear Street movies with somebody or
Fear Street
so.
was great.
Yeah.
So this kind of hit that same nerve for me, and I was like, "Thank you, just
Mm.
thank you." And I loved it, and I thought it was one of the best films I'd seen in that year. And just the disturbing, please, I'm a star moment in Pearl, or
Mm.
the moment in X where she sees they're making porn and she tries to have sex with the, I guess, cameraman, if I remember
Yeah.
correctly, and that's the first kill.
Jenna
That
Ortega's boyfriend.
Jen Ortega's boyfriend, and that you could totally see together because definitely him and Jen Ortega. Anyway, but they were just a fucking bizarre kind of Texas Chainsaw Massacre fucking reimagination, you know,
Yeah.
just a husband who loves his wife no matter what, and a woman who's deeply, deeply demented.
Yeah.
Um, really well executed, really shot in that 70s kind of style. So I think it was
Yeah, that kind of
artistically, it was very
exploitation movie type style.
artistically, it was very complicated, and execution wise, it came across very simple. And
Yeah.
I just loved it. I just really enjoyed the movies, and it definitely. But again, because same ground, and same year, I've thrown them in together. So I've broken a rule a little bit, but I'm fucking allowing it. So yeah, that's my number
Yeah.
four.
No, I totally allowed. So yeah, my number four is a movie I was really, really looking forward to. The trailer was fucking brilliantly done. Marketing campaign was one of the most brilliant sidesteps I've
I
seen for
already
a
know
very
what it
long
is.
time. And it's very hard in this day and age of social media and leaks and all these kind of things to really gazump an
Oh
audience.
God, yeah.
And this movie I thought did it so effectively, and that is Barbarian. Like, man, the way they sold this fucking movie to us, and then the way they just did this, like, gotcha. Like, man, I did not see what this movie was going to be. It was like two movies. It was almost like From Dusk to Dawn, a movie that we spoke
I
about.
forgot about this
Yeah,
movie.
but this movie
It
is
would have
like,
been. It probably would have got into my list, but I forgot about
yeah,
it.
it's pretty
Yeah,
much like two separate movies, two different tones. It's going to catch you off guard completely. Like if you've seen the trailers, like everybody else, and seen the way it was portrayed and who starred in it, you're like, "Holy shit! I know exactly what this movie's going to be." And then when you go in there, it's exactly what it's not that you think it is, and it's really, really fun. I thought it could have been maybe more effective in other ways, but man, like I just want something new, and this was new. Caught me completely off guard. Justin Long, R.I.P. That's all I'm going to say. He never
See,
does well in horror movies.
yeah.
At least he didn't
He's
turn
not long,
into
and
it.
it did, yeah.
Yeah.
It's and the film zigged when
It
you thought it
has
was going
gone
to
worse for him,
tank.
though. That's
It
all I'm
has,
saying.
yeah.
It has gone worse for Justin Long. It really
Um,
has. That poor motherfucker never
but
does
it,
well in a horror movie.
yeah, that would definitely be okay. So I'm going to go with my number 3. I'm sorry, I'm going to have to move aside because I'm going to be in the way of the logo a little bit.
Yeah. What's this?
Oh, sorry.
Fresh. Go on.
Yes.
I have not seen this and I've not heard of it. Talk to me.
Sebastian Stan,
Go on.
and he is
Bucky. Yeah, Bucky. Yeah,
and he
that's just
is
referring to him by his actual
he's on
name,
the
not his
dating
stage
scene.
name.
He's on the dating scene, and he meets a girl and blah blah blah, and invites her to a thing, and he's all like, she thinks he's vegetarian. He's like, I don't eat animals,
Yeah.
but turns out what he does is he eats people.
Oh, he's Army Hammer.
Yeah, he's Army Hammer. Yeah, Army Hammer
Are we
would love
allowed
the
to say
role.
this?
But I don't. Yeah, it
Listen to me
was
here.
dark as fuck because
Yeah.
he keeps the girls
And it's a
alive.
movie.
Yeah. And he keeps the girls alive and literally takes their like ass cheeks, breast, legs.
That's where you're supposed to start, though. Like if you see the movie Alive, they start with the ass because that's the
but like the
part,
whole thing, and then he sends them in boxes. It's like, I mean, this film is so fucked. This film affected me. This
Holy
film,
shit.
you know, when a film is slow burn, but not in a like nothing's happening way.
Yeah.
Slow burn is in so much is happening, and the tortured characters, you're kind of tortured with them.
Yeah.
It did it spectacularly.
I can't believe I've never heard of this movie.
Yeah, very strange because it really did blow up. And I can't think of the name. You know, I'm not as good as you with names of actors and actresses and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But and especially for our rankers where we don't quite delve into the same degree.
Yeah.
But it was really.
You still do research.
But it's really, really effective. And it just, like, at one point you see that he takes, like, let's just say, our main character, she can hear a girl on the other side of the wall and she's talking to her, and like she's obviously limbless almost at this point.
Holy
and
shit.
there's another girl who's gone crazy because
man, you're telling me too much. You're telling me too much. I need to watch this movie.
I can't believe you haven't seen Fresh. It's
I
crazy.
haven't even heard of it.
Okay, you know what? I guess we're
insane.
breaking our rule. People, he hasn't seen Fresh. He needs to go watch Fresh.
Yeah.
It's my number 3 fucking movie. It was fucking fantastic.
Fucking
I never want to watch it again.
Yeah.
No, it's not Martyrs. Martyrs is a 2008 French film that you could not put a gun to my head and make me watch again.
Yeah.
But this film was
fuck, I need to watch this. It's not as bad.
This is a horror. This is, you know, the way there's so many different flavors of horror. There's, you know, like there's space and there's, you know, the paranormal and there's like you know, slashers and all this kind of stuff. This one is horrible horror. Like what's going on is awful. Like Hostel and stuff like that.
But it's torture porn.
Torture porn, yeah. So it is fucking excellent, and I'm not going to say much more than that because I want you to see it. Maybe we'll even do an entire episode on it because I guarantee you're going to have a reaction to this. Vinnie, that was my number, I believe, 3. Three.
That's your number 3. We know numbers. We're all about the digits. All right, my number 3. All right, similar to The Barbarian, had an awesome fucking media campaign. The marketing campaign was awesome, and it was really, really like it sold itself very, very well, even though it's very similar to a movie that I love. But like it's absolutely brilliant in a lot of ways. It's silly in other ways, but like, some of the visuals are unreal. The creature was cool. The whole lore behind it was kind of cool.
Yeah,
and that is Smile. Man, this movie for me, that marketing campaign where they were just putting people randomly in public events, like sporting events and stuff.
That was brilliant.
Yeah,
that was brilliant
and terrifying.
And you know what? There is, you know, like we always say, you know, there's people who can read body analytics or something, whatever you call it, and it would be somebody that, you know, I watch a YouTube channel like Jim Can't Swim, and it would be somebody in an interrogation room, and he's definitely after killing 4 people. Like he's after killing his entire family, and they can tell by the way he holds, by the way he does this, by the way he does this, and they explain it to you. But there is something so innate about when somebody smiles at you a certain way, and it just sends a chill through you.
Because it's that whole thing
something
again.
So fucking awful about it. Like
it's the whole thing again. Like whereas smile should be a warm thing or a safe thing.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. In fact, it's a very innocent moment. Like, you know, they say, you know, when you're hanging out with with the younger generation, your family, your kids or your nieces and nephews or something, and you just love seeing, and they have a big smile, and it means the world to you. It means the world. It's such a pure thing.
Yeah.
But like when somebody really the Joker, you know what I mean? Like when somebody really takes that something innocent that takes it to a degree, and Smile was kind of based around that, like really pushed that
Or do you know,
narrative.
like that when you're like asleep in the chair and then you hear a kid singing a nursery rhyme into your ear, and then you wake up and you realize you're alone.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then you realize you've kind of like, when you think about it, always been alone.
Deep inside that maybe you're the dead one.
But Smile, yeah, no, Smile. I didn't hate. I didn't hate it, but I didn't love it.
Yeah, like
Be honest with you.
yeah. Is that because we did that episode where my audio was fucked up? I mean,
Yes,
we lost at the time.
and you just made me hate it.
Yeah, yeah. No, like man, the final girl, the lead protagonist, for me, she was one of the weakest parts of the movie. But I thought the whole movie was creepy as fuck. Some really good jump scares. They really caught me
Yeah,
off
there
guard
was
at one or two. Like, you know what I mean?
one or two scenes that I
Yeah,
will
you know
absolutely
what I mean?
go to
Like,
war for. I actually
yeah,
thought was so
and
good.
the climax was really, really good. Some of the visuals were fucking really, really cool. And they left it open ended. Like that's what I say with a horror movie: leave it open ended, wrap up the initial story, but also leave it open ended because
Horror movies you can lose.
yeah,
That's the thing, you know.
yeah, because you could literally leave it go. It's open ended. Never, if it's a failure, never go back to that universe again. But if it's a success, there's going to be a smile too now. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Like, so I just think with horrors, the best way to do is to wrap up your initial story whilst at the same time leaving it open, because horror more than any other genre is about the villain. It's less and less more about the protagonist. It's more and more about the antagonist. Look at the famous ones: Halloween, Michael Myers. Laurie Strode is one of the most famous final girls, but yet Michael Myers is what that franchise is known for.
Oh yeah, no.
Right?
If I
Like, you know what I
walked,
mean?
let's just say people who have a passive. Let's just say people who are like films and not.
Yeah,
If I walked in, I said Michael Myers is from
yeah,
the film. They would say the Halloween franchise. And I
yeah,
walked in and said Laurie Strode is from the film franchise. A lot, no, a lot. And like you
yeah,
just said, massive character,
yeah.
hugely famous. Jamie Lee Curtis, one of the biggest actresses of all time,
Of
of course, but a lot less people. Like your
yeah,
point definitely stands. It would be
yeah.
less. That's for damn
Yeah,
sure.
like Friday the 13th, proper horror fans know Nancy, but Freddy Krueger. You know what I
Jason
mean? Or sorry,
Voorhees,
not Friday the 13th, sorry, Nightmare on
Jason
Elm
Voorhees, you
Street.
meant to say Nightmare on Elm Street, Freddy Krueger. Yeah,
Yeah,
but
Freddy
your
Krueger.
point still stands in both.
Yeah, Jason Voorhees, he's a perfect example, because if you look throughout that movie, there's actually no continuing Final Girl. Like I think Nancy comes back in a sequel in Friday the 13th in fucking Nightmare on Elm Street, and Laurie Strode comes back in later movies, and you have Jamie Lloyd come, she's in two movies, but I was like, if you look at Friday the 13th, that's all about the villain. Like it's all about the villain. After the first movie, like when you have the mother, after she goes, it's all about Jason, and there's no like reoccurring final girl. I'm pretty
Yeah,
sure. Like, and there's like 1100
I met
movies.
Daniel Harris as well. I was real like, I mean,
Did you really?
I know I really did. I was out like in the
That's
smoking
awesome.
area at the
I
back of the
bet you told me this
horror.
before.
Yeah,
Fuck
no,
me.
and she's a tiny woman.
Uh,
She's such a small woman, but she's
Was
actually
she on
never, you know,
edge?
they never meet your heroes thing. Now I had maybe a 15-second interaction with her. She was but she was an absolute delight. She was just lovely, a little bit goofy. I can't remember the joke I made. It was ever so slightly at her expense or something, but
Yeah,
she laughed she laughed at it. She gave as good as she got. She was cool. She was just
yeah.
fucking cool, man. I enjoyed meeting her. I met Michael Bean as well the same way, and he was fucking cool too. So sometimes don't meet your heroes, I guess would be the expression.
Yeah, but generally people that are in the horror genre, like, or the horror community, are fucking awesome. Like, you know what I mean? They're usually like awesome to the fans, like, you know.
Yeah.
But like, what's next? Is you're
Next
next?
is me. Yeah, no, I'm
Yeah,
next. Are you
next is
ready?
me. I am next.
Next is me, and I am next. The Innocents.
I haven't seen this either. Talk to
I
me.
told you to watch this some months ago. You never got around to it. I'm gonna say Norwegian, and I apologize to the Scandinavians, because maybe I fucked that up. But this film all takes place inside of an apartment block, like a high rise
Yeah,
apartment block. Sorry, my vernacular is letting me down. But there is this little girl who's just on the swing behind me. She's just kind of making friends, been a kid, and
yeah,
she has a sister who is non-verbal autistic, And there's this kid she meets, and he just says, I have these abilities, and he proves that he actually does like have these Esper abilities. Like he can move things. He even like the girl he's trying to explain to, he makes her climb a broken branch that's fallen from a tree. He makes her climb it quite dangerously, and then she realizes she's climbing it. So he has like, but he's a fucking psychopath, like
Who
a
the kid is?
psychopath. The kid is, and he's only 10 or something, and it's not the usual like really dark glimpses. He actually seems very normal. He just doesn't seem to have any morals whatsoever, and in a kind of passive way, as in like the same way that I'd skip a stone across a lake, he would drop a cat down 6 flights of stairs just to see what would happen.
Fucking
You,
hell.
you know what I mean? Like it's really casual. It's
Did
not
the
the
cat land
American.
on its feet?
It did, and then
Liquefied.
it doesn't. Yeah. But again, you haven't seen it, so I don't want to. We're going to have to come up with a rule. Do we just bury each other, and it's our own fault if we haven't seen it for the sake of the
Well,
audience?
you can talk around the movie and talk about
True
its
enough,
qualities
true
without
enough.
giving
But
away
I
the
have to
plot.
say,
Like,
this film was all. It was the definition, and I the wording came to me, and I'm going to stand by it. Is a storm in a teacup.
yeah,
It was huge. Like what was happening here that made them, because there was more than one in the soul power. What's going on? But it never explores it. But it never has to, because they're just kids.
yeah.
How would they figure it out? Who would they go to? They're 10. You know,
Yeah,
they're
I hate
9.
that when they start figuring out everything. Like, you
Exactly,
know what I
but they
mean?
don't, and they never even address it. But why would you? And I love that when we kind of like, if everything went to shit and the internet was down and all this kind of shit and all this stuff was going out on outside my door, I would try and stay alive. I'm not an engineer, I'm not a scientist, I'm not, a high level government, any of that. If everything went to shit, I wouldn't know shit. And this film stays in that, and I like when films do that. But also, it's from the perspective of a girl who's not the greatest, but there's limits.
Mm.
And it's from a horror perspective. It's, you know what, man? It's my second favorite fucking horror film of the year, and it could have just as easily been my favorite. That's how fucking good it was. It was
Interesting.
fucking fantastic. It's a
Interesting.
10 out of 10 film, and I've never seen a film like it, and I just loved it. I don't know what else I'm supposed to say.
Fucking Norway is making some awesome movies, though.
They are like
Yeah.
Trolls, like fucking.
Yeah.
Remember how good the CGI in Trolls was?
Man, even Troll Hunter, man, back in the day, 2010, that was fucking awesome movie.
It's actually what I thought I was saying. Sorry, yeah, Trolls is the more recent one.
Yeah,
But Troll Hunters back in the day where the big Jeep and they had all the lights and the trolls.
Yeah,
fucking
Troll!
absolutely fantastic.
Fucking
Absolutely
love that
fantastic.
movie.
So The Innocents, if you haven't seen it, you're a bad person like Vinnie. Watch it.
Well, like, irrespective of whether you've seen The Innocents or not, I am definitely a bad person.
Irrespective of whether you've seen it, like Vinnie, like you're a bad person like Vinnie. Vinnie's not a bad person because he hasn't seen The Innocents.
Yeah.
It's
I'm
all
generally a bad
very
person 'cause of
wordy.
my- I'm generally a
All
bad
right.
person. Full
Hit
stop.
me with your number 2. Put it all over my face.
My number 2 is Covered in Poo. I know, like, my number 2 is a movie that I was really, really looking forward to. Didn't get a chance to see it in the cinema. I was sick and had to wait till it come out to streaming, but I was really, really happy because I absolutely love the fucking creator. He's wrote some really good movies, directed some really cool cult classics. And I really want to see a sequel to Dread. That's Alex Garland, and that's the movie Men. I'll try and move out of the way. You see that. I don't know if you see this.
Considered it.
It's a British horror movie,
yeah.
and it's fucked up.
I've seen it. Yeah, it's fucking twisted.
Yeah, that climax.
I know.
Fuck? Holy shit!
I remember the actor, the guy who plays basically every man in this movie. I remember he showed up in an episode. He showed up in an episode of Penny Dreadful, and he was the Frankenstein monster.
Prometheus.
It was Prometheus the name.
Yeah.
And he kind of tears through. Yeah, he has this great intro. And I thought, good for him. He'd probably, it's like a mild version of Pedro Pascal when I seen him die in Game of Thrones. And I was like, that poor fucker. He might never get a job that big again. They killed him off inside of, and I'm like, Pedro Pascal.
He's my everything now.
If Pedro Pascal walked in and started sleeping with Sheila, I guess like that's his role now. We just let him do.
It's like he's out of line, but he's right.
Yeah, he's out of line, but he's right. But no, I seen Men. Men was it's always that wankery thing of like holds a mirror up to society.
Yeah.
But it kind of does.
Yeah, because it's all about the patriarch and how it's keeping people down and shit like that. Like,
yeah, and it's all, you could even call it like fucking very left wing ideology, and I am probably fucking closer to left wing ideology, but at the same time, it does actually fucking address some of the concerns really, really fucking well, and under the guise of horror, and it does that particularly well.
Yeah, Alex Garland.
It was a fucked up film. Like, I mean, it was fucking messed. That's why I didn't put it in it. I wouldn't know how to fucking describe it.
Yeah, man, Alex Garland, I think, like, one thing I love about it, he does this really, like, fucking really good, like, visuals, really, really trippy visuals with really, really intense music. And, like, he's really good at doing that on keeping you unsettled the whole way through movie, keeping you untrusting of people. He did it so well in Ex Machina as well, where the whole way through it, you're untrusting of Oscar Isaac's character, and you realize that maybe like he shouldn't have been, like, you know what I mean, he was the lesser of two evils in a lot of ways. And like, you know, and like in this movie as well, like Alex Garland keeps you guessing, and then by the time that you're kind of figure things out, he fucking makes your brain explode with some sort of, like, I just meant Noel disappeared Jedi mind tricks, but like he makes your brain explode with like either intense like visuals or insane score or something. Like, but like, man, this movie, the climax, I just kept saying what the fuck over and over and over again. Like, the movie is so unsettling. I love the trailer.
I remember kind of going at one point. The only thing I can't even remember exactly what was going on. I think it was something like something birthing itself.
Yeah.
And I remember just kind of going, I get it.
Yeah.
I get it.
It's like, ew, 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 ew.
What you're going for, I get it. Like, you know, it's like,
yeah, because like the way I look at horror is, like, if you want to make my list, like there's also like there's little things you have to look at. You know, obviously the quality of the movie is very important, and for me, Men is a good movie, but for horror, it has to make you fucking feel horrific. And a lot of these
what
movies,
I mean. It's not what horror is. It's the fact that we can feel so many different things in a very safe environment. And a lot of the stuff though is like, oh, it's tense, and that's fine. That's what you want. That's the roller coaster.
Yeah,
that's nice and simple. And then it's like grotesque, and it's the thing that makes go, and that's nice and simple.
Like the first time you see the
things
thing,
like Men or something, things like Men, it just kind of makes you go like, oh, I don't,
you know, like, you don't even know how to feel.
But you don't have a very simple word for how you feel. You know what I mean? It's not like put it in a word. You're like, I can't. I'm uncomfortable. I can say that, but that doesn't sum up, because, you know, I could sit in a chair that's not very comfortable. That's uncomfortable. No, it's not a good enough word. You know.
Yeah, and the lead, I don't know her name off the top of my head, but she was fucking awesome in it. Like, she carries the whole movie. Like, it's visually beautiful. Like, the way
it has very little music.
Yeah, and she's like,
you know, like that actual stillness, and it's always that done well.
That climax is so disturbing. But like the one part I really loved was like when she's in the tunnel and she starts doing that repetition where she thinks it's like, you know, her echo, where she starts going like that over and over, and then she's walking through and she realizes there's a person following her through the tunnel and shit. Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, simple little things that like make you really, really unsettled. And like
I just remembered the whole boyfriend narrative, by the way.
Yeah,
it just came back to me. It's been a while, like the whole boyfriend thing.
Yeah. So like, even though like there's probably better movies last year, more entertaining horrors.
Oh yeah, it's you though. Like, I mean, for me, A, we can only base this on films that we've seen.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
B, it's how it affected you.
And for me, like, I was really, really looking forward to seeing Men because the trailer was really unsettling, and then I seen the movie, and like, I did not know how to feel at the end of it, and I was grossed out and unsettled so many times in so many ways, and it just looks so fucking good, and to make me feel so fucking disturbed the whole way through it, I have to say I had to put Men in my top 5, and it's my number 2. What's your number 1, motherfucker?
What's my number 1? As if there was ever any doubt. Pray on it. Absolutely
interesting.
Finally got a good fucking Predator movie. Oh my fucking god! I like Predator 2. I love Predator 2, but it's no Predator.
Prey nearly made my list, but
fucking Prey. It did it for me. I was like, thank you. This is an itch.
Is it not more science fiction than horror?
You know what? Fuck off. How's that for an answer? Suck my fucking balls. There's my answer.
Yeah, I was like, I should maybe put Prey on here somewhere, and then I was like, I could probably keep it for a science fiction list. That was my reason.
No, suck my fucking balls is my fucking answer. I fucking love this movie.
I love this movie. Amber Midland was fucking.
She was fantastic. She was underestimated. She was clever. She seen through the sacrifice and the unluck and the hubris of others slowly how to take on this creature. She was observant. She wasn't like, I just thought it was fantastic. I was so happy when this film was over. I was like, thank you. That's what I wanted. A great fucking Predator movie. So fine. I don't know. Again, it's the Venn diagram jokes we met earlier. It's a horror movie, but it's also an action movie and a sci-fi movie and all that kind of jazz.
Historical drama.
Yeah, a historical drama. Yeah, exactly. But this fucking movie, I needed it.
Yeah.
2022. If there's one thing 2022 delivered to me in movies, it delivered me a good Predator film, and that is easily my number one spot.
Yeah, something I want to talk to you after we're finished doing this list. All right, so you want to know my number one?
I would take it or leave it.
Yeah. All right, cool. See you later. So that was
anyway, thanks.
Remember that man? Just do that. We never give her number one. One of
we fucking do that. Just fucking.
Just cut out number two. Give honorable mentions and never give her number one.
Fine. Fine.
Yeah. So my number one is like a little rule that we like to break every now and again, and you broke it earlier on with the same movies, and that is Pearl and X. And the reason
you did the same thing. That's awesome.
The reason I put them on my list and the reason I gave it number one is because they own 2022 for me. Mia Goth has become such a horror icon in the space of such a short time. And Ty West, who's attached to it, comes from the VHS crew. Like, man, these movies are fucking awesome. We did an episode when we relaunched, I think it might be our first episode back. Like, these movies are so good and so rare. Like, I know you said earlier on about Fear Street, but it really is so rare to get two movies from the same horror franchise in the same year. And like, to be both of them to be equally as good and to be totally different and how they're shot and how they were done. And like, man, these fucking movies are awesome. Mia Goth is awesome. Ty West is awesome. Pearl and X, my number one for 2022. Noel, what's your honorable mention? We get the fuck out of here.
Well, my honorable, you still have to do your honorable mention after mine, and I'm kind of hoping this doesn't do the usual to fucking tirade.
Because you're doing so well. Oh yeah, it's all good. A little bit blurry, but you're doing well, man. You're doing well. Your image has been on point.
Yeah, no, but like, no, directed by your best friend, and or whatever produced.
He directed it. Like, Jordan Peele directed it.
Did he direct it?
Yeah.
A lot of people didn't like. I fucking thought there was something so fucking petrifying about something that has adapted in this particular way to camouflage itself from exactly us. Like that, I love things that put us down the pecking order. I always say this to you, like Michael Myers and stuff. It's their indifference to us. It's like kills you because like why not, or it kills you because you're food, or it kills like the aliens, like the xenomorphs. Predator because you're hunt worthy, that sort of thing, where it's not personal. That's what's scary. When the Nope thing was just literally eaten. I thought it was a cloud, and that scene where everyone that finds themselves in a digestive system, I really enjoyed this film. I really did. I didn't make my top 5, fair enough, but I definitely have to say that I haven't seen the film before, and that's a huge thing for me personally. And secondly, I just thought it was kind of weird and fucked up and visually interesting, and I don't know, it was a good film. What about you?
I went to see Nope in the cinema. Like, I'm not Jordan Peele's biggest fan, but I do appreciate his qualities. I just don't like some of his messaging sometimes. I think it's too fucking blunt and on the nose. Like, get over it, like, kind of thing. Like, because like Candyman, especially, like, the climax and that was like so brutal.
Candyman wasn't a great film. It was such a bad film.
And I know he produced it, but he co-wrote it, so like, his ideas were there. But like Us, I thought was a bit messy. Get Out was fucking awesome, and I was going to know, but like high enough hopes because like the trailer looked really really cool. Like he's like in the soundtrack, and he gets that, he gets score, and he gets how to fucking do visuals, and he has so many qualities as director. But I think in this movie, the climax just for me was a bit disappointing. Apart from that, like I love Stephen Yeun. Like Glenn was one of my favorite characters in the Walking Dead. Like I think I'm so happy. Like didn't he win an Oscar recently? Like didn't he last year? Did he win an Oscar? At least got nominated.
I've no idea. These are the things
Yeah, but I've been better out of loop lately. Like but he's so fucking good, man. Stephen Yeun. Jordan Peele, even though I'm not his biggest fan, he makes really, really cool looking movies, like really cool looking movies. Like in Nope was such an interesting perspective about how like African Americans and their relationship with like the film industry, and how this like one particular family and how they kind of grew with the industry and all this kind of shit like that. And like all these different things I had no idea about, like that little short in the movie and stuff like that. Like the first thing that was ever filmed was a black man on a horse and stuff like this. Like I love that kind of stuff where you find out something and like has his like fucking great ideas, but he knows the industry, he knows what it's to be like, and to give this kind of like backdoor or whatever into the industry. Nove did that really well, and then it wrapped it up into this kind of weird sci-fi horror and this alien kind of creature thing. But like, it's like the movie looked cool, soundtrack was awesome, and he was very logical in how he went about trying to capture the creature. But the climax for me was massively disappointing, and I didn't like the creature design at the end, and that's about it. And
I
think
liked the big fucked up thing. Yeah, no, I liked it.
looked like a
But I
fucking
get that
sail
people
off a
didn't.
boat or some bullshit.
Yeah.
Fuck that noise. It's not Tim Burton.
Fuck you, yeah. In
Get
fact, I take back everything I said. Yeah.
fucking get Jane Fan out and tangle that bitch up.
Yeah, that's what they should do. I don't know. I don't know. I actually like the creature design and stuff. There's so many things that where the guy that does Spawn's voice, actually, the uncle or whatever, the
Johnny
star
White. No.
No. He did it in the cartoon. Sorry, and he gets the coin through the head, because the fucking cloud is literally shitting the debris, the inedible fucking stuff. There was so much of that was just so fucking crazy.
Start, isn't it?
Yeah, I just thought so much of that was so fucking crazy, and they had to be so tactical in trying to take this thing on. I just enjoyed some of that kind of aspects of it so much, and I genuinely didn't know what was going to happen next. And I always love that as well when a film takes an unpredictable path. So it didn't make my top 5, but it definitely gets an honorable mention. I just enjoyed it, man. But at the same time, a film that it's not the hill you die on. Somebody said like, "Oh, I hated that," and you kind of go, "Well, yeah, that's just an hour of my life I don't want to fucking spend debating somebody on it." It's fair enough, and I kind of get
you
it.
are a
But
master
for me,
debater.
man, I am exactly 4 times today. But
nice.
But honorable mention.
That's rookie numbers, dude. You gotta beat them up.
Dave's not out. Dave's not out.
Anyway, so that's your honorable mention. My honorable mention is like there's loads of like fucking reboots last year, and I could have picked many of them. And the main reason I picked a reboot and honorable mention is because I wanted to have a little bit of a discussion with you after we were doing the list. And I thought of all the reboots last year, I was like, this one is brutally gory. It's so fucking stupid. It's got so many ridiculous kills that I've already seen it twice, and that is Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Like, oh my god,
yeah, man, that movie was insanely violent.
It was insanely violent. It was garbage.
Yeah, complete garbage.
It was garbage.
Complete garbage. But I had to put it out there because
I did like the scene on the bus.
Yeah, like there is so much.
I did like the scene on the bus.
Like it rebooted way too much for me, but whatever. I don't care. Like it was stupid. Like the dude would be about 90 now or whatever. I don't give a
easily.
Fuck. Yeah, it's the fucking like he was a full ass grown man. Why is he doing
the teenager was in her late 60s or something. You know? The teenage girl was getting, it was fucking. And remember at the end, do you remember like
it was such a big rip off of Halloween 2018. Like
it was like
Halloween
goallessly jumped on the wagon. Like that's all it was. Like, yeah. I wanted to like this so much, and
it's so stupid.
And it was like all of a sudden they met him Jason Voorhees, as in like like point blank shotguns and getting yourself ripped open by a chainsaw. You bleed to death.
Yeah,
that's what happens. It doesn't matter if it's only like an inch and a half deep. If it goes from your belly button up to your nipples, you die. It's a chainsaw.
Yeah, man, like I fucking loved how gory this movie is. It was so stupid.
The scene on the bus.
Yeah, man. I have to say, man, right? Texas Chainsaw Massacre, right? Of all the top level franchises, when you look about Halloween, Friday the 13th, Nightmare on Elm Street, whatever, Texas Chainsaw Massacre is right up there with them, and it was due a good reboot. And even though this movie lacked in quality, it fucking didn't lack in violence. And it didn't lack in violence. Man,
if you want to, that's the metric.
Yeah, some serious gore because and it stayed true to the character in a lot of ways because he massacred lots of people with a chainsaw in Texas.
And so, yeah, you got me there. You got me there. It was like, a massacre in Texas that involved a chainsaw. Like
Check
that.
and made.
No, that's a
I think it's
checkmate.
right.
Yeah, I know. I'll give you
But
that. Yeah.
But like, yeah. So of all the what I mean. Last year there was loads of reboots. I could have picked loads of them. There was Scream 5, there was Halloween Ends for now, and there's so like out of the big major ones. Which one of those do you think was the best? Like Scream 5, Halloween Ends, or Texas Chainsaw Massacre? I'm
Scream
sorry,
5 easily.
Hellraiser as well.
Oh, yeah. Hellraiser was
And
going to be my
Prey,
honorable.
if you want to throw
Yeah.
Prey out there. But
Yeah,
Prey,
Hellraiser was going to be. I mean, it's actually really enjoyed Hellraiser, but
yeah, 13 Ghosts. You mean part 2? Yeah, go on.
yeah, but no,
13
I probably have to,
Centipodes.
Scream. Scream at least was kind of true to its source
Yeah.
material. There
Except
was,
for the gore.
yeah, it wasn't very gory. It wasn't very
No,
gory.
there was too much gore. Remember, she fucking guts Dewey.
You know, thing with Dewey's death was very gory, very gory.
Yeah.
Well, I'll give you, but it wasn't.
It's Jenna
Although
Ortega in
none,
that as well, isn't she? Jesus Christ, man!
none of
Like,
the screams were particularly gory, if that's what you're going into them looking for.
yeah, Jenna Ortega is did X last year. She did Scream 5,
Yeah,
and she did Wednesday.
she's Wednesday now.
That
Girl
girl's on
owns the world.
fire,
It's
man. Fucking hell.
yeah, but it's like Jim Carrey in 1994 just owned the absolute world. That's
Do you
all
think
there
she's
was
going
to
to
it.
do
Just
a
owned the
movie
world.
about the dude from Taxi, Andy Kaufman? She plays Kaufman, man. Oh my god!
Yeah.
Whoa! I just got the visual. Jenna Ortega and Andy
Yeah,
Kaufman
we're done
on
here.
the
Like,
Moon Part
like,
2.
yeah, she has it all. No, I top Scream if I had to.
Yeah, I think I need to go back
But
and watch
anyway,
Scream
no,
again.
yeah, good choice, man.
I think I might have watched it a bit of a snobbishness about me. I think I need to go rewatch Scream. I think, yeah, there's
Really,
do you think
I did like that. Yeah, it did have a good couple of lines.
before we leave though, do you think we're going to see more reboots now over the next couple of years? Do you think we're going to see a sequel for Texas Chainsaw Massacre?
Of
Scream
course,
6
man,
is
it's soulless
already on
if
the
it
way.
can make. It doesn't matter if it's bad if it makes money. They don't. These fuckers don't go to bed kind of going, God, my product. No.
Do you think we're
It's
going to
bottom
see
lines.
another Hellraiser with
Of course we are.
what's her name, Jamie Colton? No,
Yeah, no, you're better at that than me, man.
I
If you
can't
don't
remember
know,
her
I don't
name.
know. But Jamie sounds right.
Yeah. Shit. No, I can't remember because I know she was in Sense8 or something like that. But I don't really know her as an actor. But she was a cool pinhead. I'll give her that, man. She was fucking cool.
Yeah, she was. She had a presence, didn't
I
it?
think I need to go back and watch that movie too. Fucking should we do a rankers for fucking reboots? Oh my god, I'm giving you all the content. I'm giving you all the content. Right. No, right. So before we leave, right, you say Scream 5. You looking forward to Scream 6?
Yeah, I just am. I'm sorry, they got me. Without Neve Campbell though, I'm not impressed. Boo, Scream, boo, but I'll still be
But
there.
also, if you want to keep making Scream movies, you're going to have to move on past the original cast.
Yeah, but pay the girl. You made absolute millions and millions, and she was a
got
big part of it.
royalties, I assume.
No, I don't know. They tried to screw her and pray, and one of the actors, one of the first killers, the tall guy, I'm bleeding here. He came out and said bullshit.
Lillard.
Yeah, but he said what they offered her was fucking bullshit for what these films make.
Yeah,
so they pay her what she's worth.
100%. Neve Campbell is Scream.
And maybe she hasn't set the world on fire in her other adventures, but the girl is Scream.
One thing we spoke about before was how villains become the center stage of a horror franchise. But if you look at Scream, it's almost the exact opposite of that, because Sidney Prescott has starred in every single movie. She's a recurring final girl. She's been in every single Scream picture. Some of the most famous final girls of all time have not been in every installment, and to have that movie without her, because Sidney Prescott is every bit as important to Scream as Ghostface, because Ghostface keeps changing. She's the only constant. Her and Gail Weathers, what I mean?
Of course, yeah.
And
her
Dewey,
and Gail,
until Dewey got,
yeah, that's it. And Dewey, now they're down to 2, and they're
in a
much later stage in their life. Yeah.
So I just think pay the girl, so pay the lady. So mate, they're my choices 2022. Do you have anything else you want to say? We leave.
Let's get the fuck out of here. Fuck these people.
All right, fuck these people. All right, folks. I'm your host, Green.
I'm your host, John Terry.
And that was Visual Potty Snatchers, and there are favorite movies from 2022, favorite horrors, and
what are yours?
what yours is up in the comments and all that.
Tell us in the comments. Tell us like what the most brazen thing we missed was. Like the one that really grinds your
gears. There was a good few though, wasn't there? There was a good few. Oh
yeah, but you can only base on what you've seen. And even still, if we did in an alternate universe where we did this tomorrow or yesterday instead of today, it would have been a different list.
There's a movie called
Prey would have been at the top for me, but
there's a movie called Old Man with the dude from Don't Breathe in it, and I haven't seen that yet, and I just got my hands on a copy. So if that could be people's list, I hear it's pretty good horror movie or some shit. Anyway, folks, see you next time. Peace.
Pieces.
Peach. I could eat a peach for hours.